Hi, Tenzin. So it's 3 o'clock. I think we'll start on time, respecting everybody's time that they've invested. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this webinar. This webinar is organized by Talent Corner. We have today with us Tenzin Chondon. She's an entrepreneur. She's a communication specialist, a author, and an executive coach and social worker. She's been in the communications industry for almost a decade and has also worked very closely with His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. She is quite active in terms of social work. She works along with the deprived communities and helps them out with education and other opportunities. She is personally very passionate about branding and does not want to be restricted to any age, gender, profession, or social background. She's been a writer at various publications like Midday, Indian Pages, and various e-portals. Today, she's going to be speaking to us about a rather different topic of self-branding. During the session, what Tenzin is going to cover around is, how to find and build your own personal brand. What are the essential tools and techniques that you must have to maintain this personal brand, and how do you reach out to your target audience? So without any further ado, thank you, Tenzin, for joining us. I request everybody to once again put yourselves on mute and turn off your camera so that there is no buffering. Tenzin is going to be speaking for between 30 to 45 minutes, and then she will open up for questions, and she's more than happy to answer all your questions. Right? And there is a chat box to your right. Please, if you have any questions, Tenzin is going to give you time to interact. You can put in your questions out there. Tenzin, you're on the spotlight and everybody else is on mute except for you. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Rashesh. I think that was quite an elaborate brief about me. Of course, I'm in the spotlight. I'm happy to enjoy that luxury. Thank you for this luxury that you provided me with, Rashesh, and everybody, of being in the spotlight. I feel like a special person today. Thank you for making me feel special. Apart from that, I think it's amazing how the internet can be a boon to all of us because we're so connected. The world, I mean, is so small. Look at us, 60 people on this webinar assembled here. This wouldn't be possible without the internet, right? And what better way to use this lockdown period than doing these sort of trainings, right? So whatever, as I speak, as you hear me speak, you can maybe burst out on your journal, write down on your diary or a piece of paper, note down a few essential points that I will be talking about. And whenever I ask you a question or maybe say if you understood or no, you could give me a big thumbs up through your chat box. Okay, now having said that, I also believe that I want this webinar to be as simple, precise, and sweet as possible. Because, I mean, what is the use if I take up this webinar for an hour and you won't resonate with it? What is the use of having a webinar like that? I want to have a simple, sweet, precise webinar which you relate to, you resonate to, and you enjoy. So right now, please understand, this is not going to be your stereotypical webinar. I want you to feel relaxed, sit back, have your journal, reflect onto the thought of every word I utter. Okay, having said that, give me a big thumbs up, all of you, if you're prepared for this. A big thumbs up. Great. Okay, excellent. Now, first of all, when we talk about personal branding here, okay, thumbs up, thank you very much. So when we talk about personal branding here, what we do in the contemporary world today is we sort of are so mechanical with these concepts, and we're so bookish about the concept. The earlier, sort of webinar, the earlier training that Rashesh has attended with me about decoding the art of communication, I spoke about the same thing. I always emphasize on the fact that you must move away from the bookish context of understanding things. And even when it comes to understanding self-branding, I think it's pivotal for us to look at it from a main perspective, and just a bookish perspective. The bookish perspective. That's what I mean to say, really. Um, so what brings you here? Why self-branding? Why are we even talking about self-branding in the first place, right? Now, when you talk about self-branding, in context to self-branding, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to talk about personal branding. You don't have to be a CEO of a company to talk about personal branding. It's for anyone out there who wants to be a magnet to more opportunities in life. So personal branding is really not what we perceive of ourselves, but also what others perceive of you. In a way, you attract and be a magnet to more business opportunities. And it could be any collaboration depending on your brand image. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. So basically, from the Doritos you eat to the hotels you check in, from the clothes you wear and the flights you travel by, everything is a brand. In fact, we live in the golden age of brands. We're surrounded by brands. And what if I told you, my dear attendees, that you yourself are a brand? What if I told you, would you believe if your parents, if your father, mother, if your brother, sister, maybe even a dog at your home is a potential personal brand? A lot of us don't recognize that fact. And this is why I'm here. I'm here to help you and share and impart my sort of experience onto this field, onto this area, onto this arena. So let's forget everything, okay? Let's forget everything about branding. Let's talk about, for example, if you were to begin a company, if you were to start a company, what are the ideal qualities you would look for in a company? What are the technical things you would need to start a company? You can start answering. Any one of you can answer the chat box. The first answer will be given preference, of course, since there's so many people. Expertise by Falguni Tucker. So, of course, you will need expertise. Of course, you will need expertise. Experience is a big part. Area of interest is a big part. So a lot of you know about what goes into the technicalities of establishing a company. True. But what is the use of your expertise if you don't have a unique idea with your expertise? So any company, the laying brick foundation of any company is its idea, right? So if you have an idea which is different and is setting a different pitch or tone in the market, which is authentic, which is different, which is not a replica of somebody else or somebody else's brand image, then your idea is valuable. Then your brand image is valuable. So that's point number one. You need an idea. Of course you do. Now, if you have the funds to start up with a company, great, voila, keep it up. But what if you don't? How are you going to start this company? You will need investors, right? So how are investors going to trust you? Investors not only invest their money, but also invest in the time. They also invest in your idea. They invest in your personality, your persona, invest in your value, your ideology, what you stand for, right? So that is very, very important. Now, number three is, of course, when we talk about technicalities, of course, how can we forget about the hierarchical structure? You will need workforce. You will need people. And no matter how technical we try to get in to understand the world of it's the world of companies, we have to understand it's the people, the human beings who run the company, not the robots. It's us, right? So no matter how mechanical we try to get in here, try to be book to a rule, okay? All the business books talk about this, follow this. No, it doesn't work like that. We're not robots. In the end, it is the emotion of a human being, of a Homo sapiens sapien, that drives him to have that vision about himself and his company. So the workforce is priority to this sort of scenario. So we talk about workforce structure is important. Why do we have structure? So that we divide work smoothly. Because when you have division of work, when you have departments, the management happens in a very smooth way, in a very smooth manner. And of course, let's not forget about resources. Okay, fine. Investors invest in your idea. Investors invest in your skill, in your ideology, in your persona. Great. What about the other things if you have to spend from your own pocket, right? Somebody says ethics and moral. That's very right. That's Amit talking about ethics and moral. Very right. So what about the other things, right? What about the other things like your desktop and chair, like your computer, like everything which goes from your pocket? All of these are technicalities of what goes on in establishing a company, right? Of course, let's not forget about the network of people you will meet, because when like-minded people come together, then the goals are much achievable. Because if, for example, I have a vision, I have a dream, and the other person collaborating with me will not have and share the same sort of agenda, it's really difficult for me to not only motivate the other person and employees, but also to set realistic goals. Okay, so this was the technicality part. Now let's focus on what is that one essential thing that will decide for the long-term success of a brand. And it could be your personal brand about yourself, or it could be your professional brand. What do you think? So you can answer in your chat box. The first answer will be preferred. Differentiation. Okay, great. Okay, so the answer to that is image. Yes, image. Because if you don't have a relatable image, if you don't have a good image, your company is not going to last for too long. There are a lot of companies which focus on short-term monetary benefits. Like, okay, for example, this year I had 40 lakhs as a profit from my business. And I'm so happy that now I negate the quality of the content I'm offering. I'm negating the service, the product, the quality of it. So what is going to happen? You will see a huge spike up and then it drops drastically. We don't want that. What do we want? We want image. And when I talk about image here, my dear fellow attendees, what I mean to say is not your physical appearance as a person, right? When I mean image here, I'm talking about your skills, your ideology, who you are, what do you stand for, how different are you, what's your story? Because your story as a person should be so relatable. A company is a reflection of the founder. The company is a reflection of the founder. The founder is not the reflection of the company. It is his ideology, his values that laid the foundation for the company. What happens under pressure when you have challenging circumstances coming in faced by the company? When the founder is under pressure, he performs bad. He performs really, really bad. What happens is his employees, they look up to him and they're going to do the same thing. So you are really the face of the company. So when you are the face of the company, you have to keep up. You have to keep up, right? So that's the importance of personal brand. Now you know why personal brand in this millennial world, why we're discussing that in the first place. Now you must have understood the gist of what personal branding is all about, right? So if you were to put it in simple words to understand, what would that be? The first, of course, the first type in chat we prefer. Consistent quality and service. That was just so astute, to the point. Exactly, you're very right. Of course, you will need to be consistent. Of course, you will need to be really, so a lot of people, what they do is, I've seen this personally, they think if you have interaction with the client once, you have the deal, they forget about the client. A relationship with the client is supposed to be long-term. It's not a one-meeting deal or one transaction deal. No, it's supposed to be a long-term cordial relationship, right? So what do you understand from personal branding? Personal branding, my dear attendees, is simply put, in simple words, showcasing the best of yourself on the table so that you can monetize from your skills, from your values, from your personality, and invite more business opportunities, more collaborations. That's how you put it in the simplest form possible, right? Yes or no? Give it a big thumbs up if yes. I want some energy coming in here. I don't want a bored guest. I don't want a bored attendee, a number of people coming in and just watching me. I don't want that. Great. I can see yellow hands. I'm not sure about the skin color, but yellow hands. Great. Anyway, so great. that was about personal branding. That was about understanding personal branding on a surface level. Now, a lot of people also think that if you have a niche, you'll be successful in the market. I think that's a myth. And I want to bust that myth right now in this moment. The reason why I say that is I am an entrepreneur. I am a cross-cultural communication coach. I am an executive coach. If I were talking about niche, how would I have so many different careers in the same field? So you don't have to have a niche to be successful in the market. No matter how many roles you assume, how many professions you have, if you're proficient in switching on and switching off, there you are, you can do it. What happens when you have a niche, when you specialize in something? You're only hitting a certain number of people, but when you have huge variety of audience, and that is possible when you don't have a specialization. So it depends clearly on how well you can balance your multiple professions. And how do people trust me? Because of the brand image I built in. And yes, it took a lot of years. Yes, it did. It's not a one-day job or two. It took a lot of time for me to build that. It takes a lot of effort because self-branding or personal branding, step number one, what goes on into it. So that's about personal branding. Now let's hit the topic of finding your image, finding your personal brand image or building on that. So there are 4 important questions you need to ask yourself. Okay? Number 1, what is the anthem of your life? What is that one-liner that describes you? Now, when you think of McDonald's, it says, I am loving it. What does it say? I am loving it, right? So when you think of that slogan, when you think of that one-liner, you have something popping in your head. What is it? You get an image of what McDonald's could actually do, right? So in the same way, it's very easy to talk going on and on about you, narrate a whole story. People are not interested in hearing that. How can you make your long story a short one so that people know who you are? What is your one-liner? What is your word? For example, if you look at Ranveer Singh, the Bollywood celebrity, this is the best example I could give to most of my attendees and clients. Look at him. Why do you think Nivea Men's Fresh Active Deodorant has him on their endorsement page? Why do you think? Because Ranveer Singh's brand image is energetic. That is the word that describes him. Energetic, eccentric, artistic, spontaneous, right? So that is brand image. So he collaborated with similar brand image, similar professional brand image. So the company Nivea Freshman's Active, they were on the same page as his brand image. And that's how you get similar related business opportunities. I hope I make that really crystal clear about brand image and finding your brand image. So what is your one-liner? That's question number 1. Okay? So I would want one person to say one-liner about themselves. What is the anthem? How would you describe? Inspirational. Great. That sounds deep, profound. Right. Could we have one more just to see? Together we grow. Wow, look at that. That looks like a software company. Okay, great. Passionate person. Falguni saying I'm a passionate person. So you will get similar approaches. Professional. You will get similar collaborations. So sometimes we think, okay, if I have a brand image, you don't necessarily have to collaborate with someone. You can maintain your current brand image. Understand? I hope you understand that. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. If yes, give it a big thumbs up. I want some interaction from you. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, great. Okay, so that was about finding your personal brand. That was the first question about finding your personal brand. The second one is, what are your skills? What are your skills? Now here right now, if I give you a topic on global warming, each one of you will have a different view. Look at that, how special it is. The same subject, the same topic, and so many different views. Why are we not using that to encash upon that of ourselves, that uniqueness of ourselves? right? So when you're authentic, so what people love in the market, even when it comes to personal branding or professional branding, is that they love the authentic factor in you. It's like the power bank you have, I think. Because if you're authentic, at some point, if you're trying to duplicate somebody else in the market, another duplicate will come and replace you. But if you're authentic, nobody can replace you. You sort of have a monopoly. And when I mean monopoly, I don't mean it in a negative, powerful way. What I mean to say by monopoly is where you can not only uplift your brand image, but those of people around you. A real leader, a real brand, successful brand image is going to be someone who will not only enhance herself or himself, but also others around. Right? So that was the first question. What was the first question? What is your anthem? What is your anthem? Second, what are your skills? How do you define yourselves? Right? What is your story? Do you know that you have a very popular saying, right? Every leader today was once a young boy with a dream, right? We say that. So what is your story that even a common man can relate to? How would your consumers relate to you? They should resonate with you, right? That's the importance of narrative. That's the importance of your story that you provide to your consumers, to your clients, to people around you. Having said that, amazing. Okay, now let's jump upon the tools and techniques. We've covered what is personal branding. We've covered finding and building your personal image. Now let's talk about the tools and techniques that I have gained over a series of decades of experience. So I'm going to be sharing it with you right now. So be sure to write it down as I say it. Okay, number one, of course, you've heard that enough, a good logo. A good logo is important, yes. So imagine if I were a software engineer and I had a software app, and on my business card, I had a guitar. I had a guitar on top. Would you really relate? You'd think, okay, if she or he is a software engineer, why would he have a guitar on the logo? You see, every image, every color has a message about you. It has a message about you. So everything that you're doing is sending a message to people around you. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Of course, let's not forget about our stories, our Instagram stories, our posts, our profile pictures, our email or messages. So whether you're online or offline, people should be able to get a taste of you, a little bit of who you are. And that's the basic element of building your brand image. A short tool to give you a boost in your brand image is that having a taste of you. So right now, if I close the account name and I just see the post of the person, I should be able to say, Rashesh wrote this, or Tenzin wrote this. So I want your aesthetics. In every post you're making on social media, give a little bit of taste of you, of your style, of your likes and dislikes. And that's how you portray your authenticity, your likes and dislikes. That's how people are going to relate to you. Great. Excellent. Now, let's talk about a little more on target audience. That's a very interesting section for me, especially when I address youngsters, the youth. The fun fact about youth is they want to be billionaires and millionaires, but they don't have the patience to do so. They don't have the patience. We live in a peak of technological extravaganza that today everything is so easy. Everything is right at our fingertips, right? You order food, it's there. Okay, you do this, it's there. Everything is at Uber, everything is there. Everything is available at your fingertips. What happens? Lack of patience. Lack of patience. So that's why youngsters concentrate so very much on the number of followers, to be precise, number of followers. I say, what is the use of so many people? Let's say you have 10,000 followers on your social media. What is the use of social media having 10,000 followers if they have, out of which only 2 people have a business interaction with you? What is the use? Right? So having the right target audience is so important. Very, very important. If you don't have the right target audience, it's like talking to walls. Neither do they need your service, nor do they understand what you're doing. They don't need you. I remember on one of my first Instagram live sessions, a random person popped up on my live page, and I was trying to help people with etiquette, business etiquette. So I was trying to help them with dining etiquette on the live session. And this guy said, "What are you doing? I don't understand." And you know what? It's not his mistake. It's mine. I allowed him to be my target audience, right? So that was a good wake-up call for me that, hey, no matter how large or small number of people, I need to reach out and be loud about my work to the right people, to the right kind of people who appreciate my service, who actually need my service. I hope you get that through your head. Yes or no? Say yes. Yes or no? Okay, yes, great. Amazing. And moreover, I want to say that we all are so swayed away by this technology, by so much technicality in this world today. Every transaction what we have, remember this, is on the basis of trust, right? Every transaction we have today is on the basis of trust. So you need to understand that you have to give self-branding a more humane perspective, a more human touch, right? Great. Okay. So do not focus on the number of people. Don't quantify. You have to qualify. You have to be more focused on the quality you are offering. Of course, this is just an introduction. I could go deeper and deeper and deeper, but I wanted to be short and precise. And that's the reason I'm only talking about self-branding and personal branding on a very surface level, because this is supposed to be a surface level understanding. It would be unfair on my part to talk to you about everything on self-branding, because it's like throwing information when the audience is not ready to digest so many information, so many facts and figures, right? So I hope you're really enjoying this session, and I hope that you take back something worthy. And most importantly, I think you have to remember this. Every stranger is an opportunity. The stranger may not have the direct opportunity, but he will give you the contact of other person. The other person will lead you to another person, and via, through, you get an opportunity. Who cares whether it's direct or indirect? Opportunity is opportunity, right? So I hope you understand that when you're starting off in the beginning, in any stage for that matter, whether you're starting off, whether in your first stage, second stage, or in your peak, doesn't matter. Remember this. Every stranger is an opportunity, and everything you are doing today is sending a message about you. Moreover, when I talk about personal branding, I don't mean to say you have to fake it or pretend or mask yourself with a facade. I don't mean to say that. What I mean to really say is portray your best inner qualities, not just your inner qualities. Your inner qualities must be in sync with the clothes you wear, the colors you wear, the way you dress up. Everything should be in coordination with who you are. I hope that was an interesting session for all of you, and I hope that you enjoyed this. That is all for today, because I wanted it to be really short and sweet. Before I leave, I think there's something that I really like to say. That in any business, or whether you're not into business, doesn't matter. It's for anybody, okay? Any human being, learn to face rejections. So just because you're rejected or disagreed upon does not mean you're not good. Does not mean your brand image is not good. It means one day you will find the correct brand image for yourself. You will find the perfect collaboration. You'll find the opportunity. Just because you're different does not mean you're awkward. Remember that. So I really thank you for this opportunity. Rashesh, you can come in now, and you can, I think I can also welcome question and answers. Only 10 for now, because I have a time crunch. I have to address other batches as well. So I hope you understand the scarcity of time today. Having said that, great. So I could answer 10 questions for now here on the session, but all the rest of them, all the other sessions, all the other questions could be answered privately through my email ID. I'll also be providing you with my contact number so that you can reach out to me in case the email doesn't work out. Yeah. Show me your questions then.
Tenzin, I think it would be really nice for the audience if you could share around 5 important things which one needs to keep in mind while they're building their own self brand, right? So a lot of people out
Sure.
here are entrepreneurs, but they all understand that there's a concept around self branding for every entrepreneur as well. Uh, but if there are 5 things that you'd like to highlight that they need to keep in mind while building their own self brand, I think it could be a good takeaway before they jump in with more questions.
Absolutely. I think a recap is important. Thank you, Rashesh, for that. Summary. Okay, so point number one, you can write it as being more authentic. That's number one, being more authentic. Okay. Number two, having a story, having a narration of what you stand for, where the roadmap of where you started, why you started it, and where you want to go. Right. Number three, we'll talk about realistic goals. I think we've talked about that. Number four, reaching out to the audience who only understand your need and service. Right? And that consists of a semi point that is not focusing on the number of people. So traffic is cheap, right? Traffic is cheap. We don't need people with trafficking. We don't need a lot of people. We need people who understand your service. Okay? And number five, the last point which you can add in is whenever you deliver something, you're not delivering a product or service, you're delivering an experience, right? Delivering an experience. Remember to always have that focus on experience, because the people may not remember who you are and what you did, but they'll always remember the way you treated them. I hope that was enough. I hope. Rashesh, you can come in now.
Yeah, so I think there is already one question that has come in from Aditi. Aditi,
Yeah.
you can unmute yourself. You can ask your question.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. So my question was that you were talking about posing yourself to the right target audience. But on social media, sometimes you do not have control over who's following you, who's liking your work. And I'm an interior designer, so I come across all sorts of people, some very good and some not so much so. So how do I filter and how do I reach out to the proper target audience?
Okay, great. So number one thing, of course, you cannot stop the people following you, right? Of course, for no reason you would not block them, you would not restrict them, right? Is that what you're trying to say? So how do you filter the audience? Is that
Yes,
what your
yes,
question?
yes.
Okay. So number one is that you have to be consistent with the kind of content you're offering. And maybe sometimes, yes, the hashtags have a lot of impact because if people are using the same hashtags, they will appear and that will bring them to your page, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So what you can do is be really dedicated to personally going to them. So I believe you should never underestimate anybody. So whenever you feel that this is not your target audience, just see how they respond. Just try to contact them on their Instagram message. Try to
Okay,
text them. Try to know if they know about your brand. If they don't, then it's better to remove them.
okay, okay. So be more assertive and right, got it.
So see what happens. Aditi is your name, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so Aditi, what happens here is I totally understand what you're trying to say. Is that you cannot be rude to people as they follow you. That means they like what you're posting, but at the same time,
Yes,
you're never going to have what you're thinking. So what you can do is ask them. How will you know whether they're the crowd for you or not until you ask them, Aditi? You have to text them or somebody from your team maybe take that intentional effort of maybe asking their email address or calling them up. Do that. Ask them what brought them to your page. If you can do that, if you can dedicate your time to that, then you understand the behavioral pattern of the audience who are following. I hope that answered your question. Thank
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
you, Aditi.
There's also
I
a question from Sita.
I like to request that you can ask me more surface level questions because it was supposed to be a surface level webinar. For deeper level questions, please connect me through my email ID. I think that'll be great.
Okay, there's a question from Sita, and then there's a question from Manish. Sita, then there's a question from Abhishek. So, Sita, if you'd like to go and ask your question, please.
Hi, Tenzin. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, it was indeed a very nice session. I have a doubt
Can
here.
you louder, Sita? I cannot hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 You spoke about actually choosing the right target audience, which is very important for all of us. And later you mentioned that every stranger that you may come across may also be a source of business, directly or indirectly. So
True.
I felt that both the statements are somewhat contradictory, and like to have a little more clarity on this.
True.
To understand my concern, yeah.
True. Okay, so what you're trying to say is the first sentence contradicted with the other. Okay, let me answer that question. So, don't you agree that when you meet a person physically, there's a lot of difference rather than contacting a person online when a person can be anonymous?
True.
Right?
Yes.
There's a lot of difference. There's this personal factors which comes in. When you meet a stranger, of course, you will ask them what you do. And that's how we exchange business cards, right? You don't just randomly, sort of message a person who you don't even know they exist. That's the reason why I said it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. That this physical touch, this physical interaction has more value. And of course, all of us have this innate capability, our intuition to understand other people when we meet them on the first go. I'm not saying that you have to go to every stranger and ask them for opportunity. Only strangers you think, of course, have that certain quality of giving you the contact, of course. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Yes, I got it.
Thank you so much, Sita. That was a really intelligent question, though. I think you were really intelligent asking questions. So I must compliment you on that.
So much.
Manish, your question is next. If you'd like to go ahead and ask a question.
Yeah, hello. I'm audible?
Yes, Manish is audible.
Yeah.
Yes, you're so audible.
Yeah.
Yes.
My question is very basic. You told me to keep it simple. So, I'm one of the franchise owner, and my staff, the recruiters, we give them the office phone, and normally they don't keep their profile pic in the office phone. They keep just the phone number and the name of the company.
True.
When you ask them to keep it, they say no. The students will simply message after seeing the DP and all.
Right.
Same time, I is for the number.
Okay.
Because even they're dealing with the clients every day, and the client even not have seen that person. Who is this person?
I know what you're trying to say. You want your employees to be seen and your activities to be seen, right?
Yes.
Great. So
Right.
Not opt for a middle way, Manish. You can do this. See, if you tell a very introvert person, for example, I'm just giving you an example, that today you post a video of yourself talking, nobody will do that. Go step by step with your employees. Confidence and other insecurity, issues are internal factors, right? Of course, people look at their DPs and their pictures and they contact them. There are always ways to block them. It's up to you whether you want to continue with that or not, right? So number one, what you can do as somebody who leads them is you sort of empower them that, you know what, if you cannot have yourself on the profile picture, why not do stories, right? Short stories of each of your employees doing certain activities with the clients. That's the middle way. So there's always a middle way, Manish. You go step by step. Don't go directly to the destination. Go step by step. Build some confidence, build some security, build some good rapport, right? Of course, I hope you're not bossy, but you're a good leader, because being a boss is easy, but being a leader is tough. So put yourself in their shoes. If you were their employee, wouldn't you feel the same way, right? So have a 45D perspective. In that way, I think it should be fruitful. Opt for the middle way, according to my opinion. Post a story to begin with, and then maybe a profile picture. I hope you answered that question.
Can I just elaborate, like, stories in what way? How can I show the activity?
Activity, why not? You can maybe ask one of your employees to talk about something, or maybe when she's doing something with one of your clients, you can maybe shoot a video about it, and then you can post it as a story.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, right.
Okay, thank you so much, Manish.
Yeah.
That
Abhishek,
was
your question is next. Abhishek Chumle.
addressed. Yes.
Hi, Tenzin.
Who's the next one?
Abhishek.
Abhishek, please. You're welcome
Hi,
to join in.
Tenzin. This is Abhishek. First of all, thanks a lot for taking out time to guide us on this particular subject. I have a question.
Sure.
The key elements that you mentioned to build the self brand. So
Sure.
out of that, the first point is being more authentic. So can you please elaborate more on authentic in what sense? Like, what do you
Okay.
stand for, or how it is?
Sure, why not? So a lot of us, what we do is when I talk about authenticity, they think, okay, talk about your date of birth, talk about where you're from. If I'm from Tibet, I mentioned I'm from Tibet. It's not about that. What I mean authenticity is how honest you are about yourself. So I hope you get it. So what I mean to say is, in terms of authenticity, the way you talk, okay? For example, this thing, the way I talk, if you try to duplicate it, you will not be considered authentic, right? Right, Abhishek?
Yes,
So for
yes,
example,
yes.
if I wear the clothes like this, if you wear the same kind of clothes and try to replicate me without adding your flavor to it, your taste to it, in the same way, even your ideas, right? The
Mhm.
problem with the modern system of education is everything in the textbook is so defined. So the moment you define something, you are confining your thought to that definition. You define definition. You define authenticity,
Okay,
right?
okay,
So your ideas, how different and unique are they from the rest of them?
okay.
And
So like
even
how?
similar, all the similarities,
Okay.
that is different.
Yes,
That
yes,
is what
I
I mean by
got it.
authenticity.
Got it.
I hope
Thank you.
that was helpful.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank you so much.
We have one more question
The
from
next question,
Praveen
please.
Sharma. Praveen ji, you
Hi.
can go ahead with the
Sure.
question.
Yeah. Hi, Tenzin.
Hello. My name is
Yeah.
Tenzin, but it's okay. A lot of people call me Tenzi. A lot of them call me Tenzil, so that's okay. I understand.
Okay. So I have one question. You told something
Yeah.
differentiation is mandatory to be ahead from the competitors.
Could
Are
you
you
be
getting me?
louder?
Are you getting me?
Yeah,
Now
I
I'm
can
audible?
hear you, but not loud enough.
Okay. So I'm audible now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So differentiation is mandatory to be ahead of our competitors. So we are into recruitment services, and almost all the recruitment companies providing the same services on same conditions, and everything is similar. So how can we differentiate our services to be ahead of our competitors?
True. Okay, great. That was a great question. Number one, you don't differentiate yourself just to be ahead of the competitors. No. I'm not saying you don't have to know what the other competitors are doing with them, with their services. It's important to keep yourself in check with the trends of the market. Yes. You won't live in a bubble saying, I'm going to be ahead of the game because I'm going to be different. No, you're going to be different, not for being ahead in the competition, but to offer value to the people. Don't focus on just the competition. Yes, it's important to know what's happening in the market. Yes, but that's not one of the reasons why you differentiate yourself from. You don't have to differentiate your service. You have to differentiate your experience, the way you deal with clients. For example, I want to sell this paper to you. Okay, what's your name again?
Praveen?
Praveen, I
Yeah.
want to sell this paper to you. So there's so many stores who want to sell the same paper. But if I strike an emotional chord with you or respect you or talk to you humbly, of course you will have more impact. I will have more impact with you. So the way you treat your customers, the way you understand your customers, that is what I mean by differentiation, not the product, not the service. The service, if you say, for example, you have so many taxis in Mumbai, but the taxi is the same, right? The taxi is a vehicle, it's the same. But how is it so different in Uber? How is it different in Ola? Because the way they're treated, the customers are treated. So differentiation has to be made not to be ahead in the game and to compete with people only. It is also for you to focus on your quality. So the moment you focus on your quality, on your customers, there is no competition. I hope I answered that. Thank you.
Clear.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Tenzin, we'll wait for if there are any
Yes,
more questions. We're open for questions if anybody needs to ask.
One last question, please, because If you have more deeper questions, as I said before, you can contact me through my email ID. I'll be answering that privately.
Great. Tenzin, I think there are no questions. What I'd request you to do is in the chat box, if you could put in your contact details so everybody can take a quick note of it and they can contact you directly if there's something which is more.
The sort of camera setting that I have does not promote me to do that. Can I just say it so that they can note down?
Yes, you can say it and I will put it in the chat box.
Okay, so it's 911.
Yeah.
361.
Yeah.
27.
Okay.
22.
I'll repeat, it's 911-361-2722.
Yes, absolutely. And if this doesn't work, if I'm not active, you could contact me on the other number, which is 89.
Yeah.
71.
Okay.
99.
Okay.
86.
Okay.
92.
Perfect.
Great.
Do you have an email ID that you want them to write to you on?
Yeah. So it's Z.
Yeah.
Z-I.
Yeah.
N. N for North America. N.
Correct.
C-H-O.
Oh, okay.
1997
Okay.
@gmail.com.
Perfect. Great.
Okay. It's zincho9097 @gmail.com. I'll repeat the contact numbers just so that you hear one more time. 911-361-2722. And the other number is 8971-998692. I hope you get that.
Right, we've got that right. So
Yeah.
Tenzin, thank you so much for joining us. We've had a very variety of audience today. Usually it's only my team, but this time I've got our clients to join in. I've got some of my Ascent colleagues to join in, some of my BNI members to join in, and my franchise, my team, everybody's out here. I appreciate you spending this time with us, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for this time.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for joining us.
Before we end this session, I think I want to ask you if this was your regular webinar or was this any different? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? Yes or no? Give me a big thumbs up if you did. Okay, great. So before I leave, I pray that this whole situation changes, that all of you stay safe, that all of you stay healthy, and make use of the time that you have right now. This is such a wonderful time for you to reflect onto whatever you've done in your entire career in life. It could be a personal life, it could be a professional life. Reflect, spend quality time with your loved ones, right? And sort of enjoy this time, okay? So I hope to connect with all of you once again. Until then, I'm signing off. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tenzin.
Yeah, thank you.